Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is yoga for pregnancy. In this video, I'm going to be showing you yoga poses and yoga flows that are suitable for pregnancy for pregnant women. I did yoga throughout my pregnancy. I've also taught yoga to pregnant women at a hospital and other studios. Now, yoga for pregnancy is a little bit different from normal yoga in that you are growing a fetus, you have human being inside you, so the poses will have to be adjusted and modified for pregnancy. And every pregnancy is different, and every body types and every body is different, and they have different body types. And depending on where you are in your pregnancy, some poses may be suitable for people, but some poses may not be suitable. So it just depends on how you feel, and you have to really listen to your body. But generally, after 20 weeks, you shouldn't really be doing poses that require your bellies on the mat. So poses like cobra or locust. So all those kinds of poses where you have your belly on the mat, you should totally avoid that after 20 weeks. And also towards the last trimester of your pregnancy, so maybe 35 weeks onwards, you should really encourage yourself to sit upright, and most importantly, you should have your hips higher than your knees. So your pelvis is tilting anteriorly rather than posterior. Tilting your pelvis anteriorly will encourage the baby's head to go down because of gravity. Baby's head is the heaviest. Second heaviest part of the body is the spine. So if you sitting on the couch, so avoid sitting on the couch. If you sit on the couch, that means and sitting too long in the car, you're encouraging your spine to curl this way posteriorly, and that's not good. Throughout your pregnancy, and especially as your belly is growing bigger and bigger, you'll probably experience back pain simply because of gravity, and you will probably have a weak hamstring and tight hip flexor. So doing yoga is generally good for you during pregnancy, just to help with your body, as well as after the birth. So your body can rebound and recover faster if you do yoga and all these stretches. Generally, when you get injured and you're in a sling, for example, and you don't use this joint and you don't use this muscle, after 8 weeks, you feel that your joints and muscle, they get really tight. So pretty much we have to stress and move the joints. Similarly, when you're pregnant, this part of your body, the tissues, scar tissues building up just to prepare yourself for the birth. So this part of your body really gets tight and weak. So doing yoga really helps you to loosen up and stretch the muscles. So all those muscles that are weak, we have to strengthen, and all the muscles that are tight, we have to stretch and lengthen. And lastly, yoga for pregnancy is I think more about nurturing, so connecting with your little one inside. So the flow will be a little bit different, more flow as well as more nurturing, connecting with your little one as well as breathing. Okay, let's get started. And if you have a block or blocks, you should use them. They can come in handy. And if you have a bolster, also feel free to use them. So let's get started. If you want, you can sit on the block so your knee is lower than your hip. And we're gonna start with a couple of breathing in your Gyan Mudra index and thumb. A couple of breaths. Here you can visualize your breathing, or maybe imagining the birth of your baby can be so special. So a couple of breaths. If you wish, you can also place your hands on your belly. And cracking open your eyes, let's inhale, lifting your arms up. And exhale to your heart center. And 2 more, inhale. and exhale. And one more. And exhale. Now let's warming up with my circle of joy. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, lightly interlace your fingers to your heart center. Inhale, lift elbows up. Exhale, we're gonna round, gentle round of the spine, pushing forward. Inhale, take your gaze up. Exhale. Inhale, take your sternum, your breastbone up. Exhale, you're gonna open your arms, interlace your fingers behind your back, rolling the shoulders. Really squeeze the shoulder blade. Exhale, just relax here. And one more inhale. And exhale, release your interlaced finger and reaching forward. If you have a bolster, feel free to use bolster or block. Just a couple of breaths here. And let's take it to the right. So lifting your left arm up, just feel a nice stretch of your left side. Shoulder is down, right shoulder is down. And bring your spine nice and straight and a gentle spine twist to the left. And back to the center. And continuing, inhale, arms up. Exhale, lightly interlace your fingers to your heart center. Inhale, elbows up. Exhale, we push it forward. Take this opportunity to stretch the arms. So you're gonna stretch the shoulders joint. Inhale, take your gaze up. Exhale. And one more inhale. Taking your gaze up, stretch up, open your arms, and lightly interlace your fingers behind your back, rolling the shoulders, squeeze the shoulder blade, looking up. Exhale, relax, release. And one more. Exhale, release. Release your interlaced fingers, reaching forwards again to the block or bolster. Couple of breaths here. And let's take it to the left. So left hand or left elbow on the mat. And you inhale, lifting your right arm up. Feel a nice stretch of your right side of the body. Left shoulder is down. And bringing your spine nice and straight and a gentle spine twist to the right. And that's my circle of joy, suitable for pregnancy. So next we're gonna circle your body, a gentle sway of the hips as well. If you get too dizzy, then just hold and stop and continue. Going one way. Just feel the flow with the breath and the movement. And other side. Again, if you feel nauseous, just stop and then continue slow. Just depends on how you feel. Alright, now we can uncross the legs and come to your all four. Face away. So in your all four, so you have your shoulders over your wrists, and maybe take the knees. Actually, let's start with cat cow. So here depends on where you are in your pregnancy and how heavy this feels. So if you are in your later stage of your pregnancy, you can just drop your chest and a gentle lift of the sternum. And then push the floor for cats. Yeah, I know it's really impossible to tuck your tailbone and have the big cat band like this, so just a push of the floor and rounding of your upper back, and then just a drop of the chest, just to warm up the spine and bringing movement to the spine. But if you're in your early stage and if you feel comfortable, you feel free to do your cat-cow, whatever feels comfortable. But make sure your shoulders over your wrists. Let's do 2 more. Whether you inhale in your cat or cow, it doesn't really matter. You just want to bring movement to the spine, spinal flexion and extension. And come to a hold. So here, just try to lengthen the spine, your tailbone. The spine includes your cervical spine, your neck. So try to align the spine, bring some strength to the arms. And moving on, we're gonna walk your knees slightly to the back of the mat. Now your hip flexor may be tight depending on where you are in your pregnancy, but mostly hip flexor is tight because of the sway back. So we're gonna gently lower your hips. Feel hip flexor stretching, feels good. Keep the shoulders down and butterfly the shoulders if you can. And then just rocking your hips forward and back. You can take your hips down all the way to your heels or just here. This again depends on where you are in your pregnancy. You can even take your knees a little bit wider. And just rocking. I know rocking your hips this way feels good, especially here where you can really stretch your hip flexor as they can get really tight. And I also invite you to circle your hips, circular movement. So take your hips to the left, back, right, and forward. And in my yoga class, I always like to breathe and flow with the movement, so make sure you breathe and not hold your breath. As you move, you breathe in and out. And then just pause, see if you feel comfortable, if you feel nice. And then other way. So be generous with your movement as well, so you can really go for it. And back to your all fours when you feel comfortable. So next we're gonna do some heart opening and strengthening of the legs, lifting your right leg up. So again, try to push the floor, see if you can push the floor a little bit, rounding off your back so you're not collapsing. And from here we're going to lower this right foot 45 degrees, and you can swing the bottom half of your left leg. So make sure your shoulders stack over your wrists, and you're going to inhale, right arm up, so feel sternum facing up. Option to stay here or reaching your right hand to the top of the mat. And also option, you can just lift this right foot off the floor, but otherwise you can ground this right foot down. And release. I'm gonna do other side. Inhaling left leg up. Remember, try not to collapse. Push the floor. And lower your left foot 45 degrees. And swing the bottom half of your right foot. Remember, shoulder over your wrist. And you're gonna peel your left arm up. Inhale, bring your sternum up. Lengthening the tailbone. Option to stay here or reach left hand forward, left hand to the top of the mat. So you feel a nice lengthening of the left side of the body. And also option, you can lift left foot off the floor or just stay here. And release. All right, that's the warm-up. And next I'm gonna show you sun salutes. And this sun salute is suitable for pregnancy. So we're gonna start with a downward facing dog. So again, depending on where you are in your pregnancy, you wanna widen your stance. So rather than the feet about hip width apart like the normal, but again, depends on where you are in your pregnancy and how you feel. So when you feel a little bit wider, everything is a little bit wider. And in general, slight turn out of the hands. So the crease of your wrists, they're in line with the top of the mats rather than turning in. Couple of breaths here. And if this feels uncomfortable, you can bend your knees, but make sure you have your tailbone lengthened down. You're gonna push the floor, hugging your armpits. And slowly we're gonna walk to the front of the mats. So again, depending on where you are in your pregnancy, you can step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, left foot to the outside of your left hand. If you need to use a block, feel free to use a block. So from here, ways of standing up, hands to the thighs or elbows. You can get dizzy. Hands to the thighs, and slowly peel yourself to come up. And inhale, arms up. And exhale, Samadhi. So just be careful with the way you stand as well. So we want not to turn out or turn in. Generally micro bend your knees so you can draw the tailbones down. So this will not encourage your pelvic to tip forwards. So just slight bend of the knees so you have some support with your pelvic. So you can micro bend your knees like this. Okay, we're gonna start. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. If you have a block, feel free to use a block. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mats or block. Come to your knees. Hips to your heel. Use a block or not. And upward facing dog. We generally have the upward facing dog. You have your belly on the mats. But this is the modified version. Hands on the block or mat. So either you lift your chest up, encouraging a sternum, breastbone to the ceiling, or if you feel comfortable, you're gonna lift your hips up. Relax your neck. Exhale, hips down to your heel. You can do again. So just lifting your hips up. Breastbone, chest to the ceiling, relax your neck. So this is a nice stretch for your hip flexor as well. Exhale, hips down to your heel. And then take your downward facing dog. One breath here. And we're gonna walk to the front of the mat. So right foot to the outside of your right hand, left foot to the outside of your left hand. Elbows to the thigh or hands. And slowly come up. And slowly ripple your spine to come up. Gentle. Inhale, arms up. Exhale. So that's one sun salute. We're going to do two more. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to fold forward, micro bend your knees. Hands to the block or thigh or mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Drawing the collarbone to the top of the mat. Exhale, hands to the mat. You're gonna come down to your knees like this. Lower hips to your heel and take your upward facing dog, the modified version. Sternum, breastbone to the ceiling or hips up. Exhale, hips to your heel. and take your downward facing dog. Gaze forward, stepping forward, right foot to the outside of your right hand, left foot. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands to your thigh, and inhale, arms up. Exhale. Good. We're going to continue 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, fall forward. Remember to bend your knees if you wish. Remember, try to take your weight to your toes. Exhale, hands to the mat or block. Come down to your knees, hips to your heel. Upward facing dog. Exhale, hips to your heel, and downward dog. One breath. Gaze forwards and start walking to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to your thighs, slowly come up. Inhale, arms. Exhale. Good, last one. Inhale. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Knees on the mat, hips to your heel. Inhale. Exhale, hips to your heel. And downward facing dog. Lift your heels, bend your knees, and stepping forwards. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale. Inhale, arms up. Exhale. All right, so at any point, if you feel dizzy, make sure you come and sit down and take a child's pose. Take a child's pose. So you can support your forehead with your hands, like this. So your head's lower than your heart. And you should be okay. And then you can continue.